Just click the links for Odysee. Gab, definitely get on Odysee. That's kind of the new place. Everyone is getting on Odysee. Everyone from YouTube is on Odysee now. It's blowing up. And I think I stole the thumbnail I'm using from Durst the Worst, who's on YouTube and Odysee. So he's one of those shadow ban channels that are still kind of hanging on. Like, YouTube wants to get rid of them. They're just looking for anything they can to delete those kind of wrong thinker channels who show up like the hypocrisy of the left. So Hollywood and comics Twitter come for ya boy Kyle, the chubby 17-year-old half Mexican who seems to be very, very naive but has his heart in the right place. And so, please, Hollywood, share your opinions from your gated communities with armed guards who patrol at night. Yet please tell us who we don't live in gated communities, and we are our own armed guards. We don't have people patrol the streets. Tell us what is good for us from behind your gated communities with armed guards protecting you from the rabble. Tell us how to live our lives. Yeah, there's no problem with that whatsoever. I mean, first of all, 99% of people in mainstream comics are absolute soy boy pussies who think CNN is a moderate, fair, impartial, unbiased perspective on the day's events. What they're doing to comics is a crime, but it's just like, it's dead, move on from it. So I uploaded the FBI drone footage to a secondary YouTube channel. They age restricted, I uploaded that and like 6 other videos. They age restricted the videos, and then they gave community strikes on some. But that footage is on Gab, Odysee, on Twitter, though it's a little bit harder to find on Twitter for some reason. Gee, I wonder why. Alt media is Gab and Odysee and Bit Chute. Twitter is the mainstream media. Definitely get on Odysee. It shows Rosenbaum chasing Kyle, who at the last moment Kyle turns and deletes him. It was crystal clear self-defense, and it's nice to know the FBI was sitting on that footage for a year. If they had just come up with that footage at the beginning, it never would have went to trial. It's weird. It's weird. It's as if the FBI is not acting in the interests of impartial adjudication, justice, fair trial, due process, equal protection, whatever. It's like the rights of the accused. That's what this common law system is all about, right? Protecting the rights of the accused. Nope, FBI sat on that footage for a year. Rosenbaum will never hurt any more kids. Watching all the footage as an adult, I realize why adults don't go to these things. Not adults with something to lose. People with nothing to lose are very, very dangerous. Watching Rosenbaum tell people to delete him, ninja. When people say things, don't just ignore them as mere puffery of a clown. Rosenbaum isn't a clown. He was a very dangerous predator. People assumed he was just being hyperbolic and just worked up over the events. They didn't know the history of this guy. They didn't realize he's got a whole history that is coming out now. But he was released from a funny farm that morning. He was a child predator who tried to self-extinguish himself. He was serious. He wanted to go from this mortal coil. If you look at the guys involved, the 5 named people are all felons. Nothing these Hollywood idiots are saying is relevant or probative to the charges. There are elements of a charge, right? And you have to meet those elements. And then there are elements of the defense, and you have to go through those point by point. That's the only thing that's relevant and probative, not your feelings and emotions. You have to wash all that away and just put on your legal hat. So the first guy, Josh Zeminski, who fired the first shot while Rosenbaum was chasing Kyle, who I think legally Rosenbaum has to be like 1,500 feet away from minors, was a felon in possession. Rosenbaum was a felon on kitty charges and is rightfully burning in hell. Anthony Huber, Gage Grosskratz, and the black guy who did the flying kick were all felons also. So 5 of the 5 guys involved are felons. That is what Antifa is. It's broken people destroyed by 50 years of feminism and liberal policies that spawned the rootless single moms that created these offspring, these monsters. And people are looking at them as just losers. It's like, yeah, but it's also like they're not raised in a vacuum. They're coming from the system of society. They're coming from this complicated system that started a while ago to create these monsters. Like, they weren't. That was the goal was to create people like this all along. So people in society, it turns out, need roots and stability. How shocking. What a concept. The puppet masters are in this constant battle to destroy society and keep us rootless. People need fathers, grandparents, and extended family. And not only that as an individual, but you need to live in a neighborhood where people have family and extended family. And that leads to nationalism. So the globalists do everything to destroy the family. Families are risk adverse. They want safe, quiet towns to protect the elders and children. Society can only absorb a certain percentage of single moms before they start to erode civilization. A fatherless household is a tragedy. It's not to be celebrated. The fact that we don't talk about it is really weird until you realize the media and the mainstream social media is the enemy of the people. The media actively wants to destroy nations. You know, all these words have meanings. Hero and person who commits bad acts for political gain. There are elements to definitions. One guy's an athlete. I'm sure he's great. The other guy acted in self-defense. He didn't meet the elements of the words you're saying. It's like all these words have meanings, and I hope one day you're put on that defamation case. These are defamatory statements of fact that are injurious to his reputation. So there are these big issues of these bullshies who want to tear down society, and then normies who want to uphold society, and they don't really understand why Hollywood and the media seem to act in a way that leads to the disestablishment of an ordered civilization. Yes, we have to red pill these kids. Thankfully, we've got alternative social media to do that, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop us. It's only when you think of these people as wreckers, like in the Dark Tower series, they want to destroy the beams that hold the universe together because destruction is in their nature, like an ordered civilization is in ours. You can go back in history and point to nexus points. 1965 Hart Cellar, Pearl Harbor, the 1913 banking. Points where the nation turned from a nation into a commercial zone run by the ultra-wealthy. Now it's a flaming runaway train that still loosely has the Constitution to remind it of its former glory, but every year moves away from it because the people who cared are decreasing. Essentially, eventually, it's just going to be a historical document meaning nothing. The point of the Second Amendment was to delete tyrants. The Liberty Tree and all that. Any infringement is unconstitutional. But every year they infringe, and the conservatives, in quotes, do absolutely nothing. They're not conserving anything. Dems and Republicans are wings of the same bird. There is no solution in that worldview. It's globalist versus nationalist, and both people with D and R after their name are Satan-worshipping globalists intent on destroying America. All the heroes of the normie right wing, Trump and DeSantis, they made it illegal to criticize Israel when you're on a state-funded school or institution. That's insane. And the media just brushed right over it. Doesn't that seem odd? That elected officials would actively work against the First Amendment free expression. And nobody talks about it. The alt media talks about it. So, like, you've got free expression, except not in these specific cases. Yeah, you got the Second Amendment, but not with a modified stock. Nobody in office is our guy. If they were, they would not have been allowed into office. Everyone in office is bought and paid for or has blackmail hanging over their heads. You saw what happened when Newt Gingrich went on Fox and he named Satan himself. The girl wet her panties and shut him down. Gee, buddy, who really controls Fox? And no, Virginia, Fox isn't right-wing. There's a spectrum of permissible topics to be discussed. Within those parameters, you got MSNBC, CNN on one side, and you have Fox, Rubin, Shapiro on the other, but they're both still tightly constrained within that limited spectrum. It's controlled ops. The real conversations are happening on Cozy.tv, Odysee live streams. You saw what happened with Nick Rekieta's live stream. Today he hit over 100,000 in a live stream. Do you think YouTube is going to allow that counter narrative? You know, the funniest guy to listen to is the Quartering. There's no, I mean, there's really no point in listening to him. He's as careful as he can be, but he is so friggin' careful on YouTube to the point where, like, it's not, like, the quartering is going to be, eventually everyone's going to be kicked off with the quartering. He'll be nervously looking around, realizing it's only a matter of time. That's why you got to get on Odysee. Everyone is on Odysee. It is it's the best alternative out there. It's monetized and it's got live streaming. People, and through thumbnails, you can use GIFs for thumbnails, which is kind of cool. People are desperate for real news. Nick Rekieta, the Ralph Retort, Nick Fuentes, and the rest. And they're only available on alt media. The mainstream media is lying to us. The idiots in Hollywood uphold that, and I don't know the word I want, paradigm theater. It's like the Globe Theater of the absurd. The world is a stage, but these actors might actually be lizard people. And I don't understand how anyone can get excited about anything coming out of mainstream Hollywood, especially from the vermin at Disney. Some companies in Hollywood are better than others, but Disney is a complete write-off, which is kind of a bummer because I think they control, like, out of the big pictures coming out, it's like a huge overrepresentation. So anyway, analyzing this thing from a legal perspective, you get crystal clear FBI footage of Rosenbaum chasing Kyle. Kyle runs for his life. He turns at the last second, and in fear for his life, he stops the attack. You don't get to chase someone, and then you, as the aggressor, assert the right of self-defense. This should never have gone to trial. It should have been dismissed with prejudice or directed verdict, whatever they call it in criminal court. The deeper concept is the Constitution didn't ever expect a society of deep bred in circuses would be so sick as to elect mayors and governors who would support globalist-funded Antifa. Soros gave Kim Fox $846,000 for her campaign to put her in office. What did she have to do for Soros to be put in office? What would George Washington think about a billionaire globalist putting puppets in office? I don't know if you've been following the Kim Fox and the Beetlejuice situation about, mutual combat. That's nuts. That's absolutely insane. You should have people in the street going, what's going on here? We have a problem, and people are just like, just more bread and circuses. I guess I'll just go watch some more sports ball while the Nero is fiddling, Rome burning. I can't really say what George Washington would do because I realize anything I say after that point will get me kicked off YouTube, so use your imagination. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe, join the channel, become a member, support channel on Coffee or crypto, or on Odysee. You can donate, like, each Odysee token is a nickel, I think, so it's it's easier to get people to donate nickels than to get people to donate $3 on Coffee or crypto or something. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I will see you guys all next episode.